Dear liberals, do you understand what cause and effect is? So, right here, the definition is pretty much cause and effect is a fundamental relationship between two events or situations where one event, the cause, directly influences or produces another event. Do you understand what that means? Because after the last so many years, I don't think you know what that means. Because especially liberal minded people, or the modern liberals, they have such a problem with healthcare and education. They're like, oh my gosh, we need more of this with healthcare and education. And it's like it's a huge problem nowadays, for them at least. But they don't understand the cause. Because there had to be a cause for that. It didn't just like, oh, it suddenly just come out of thin air. Something happened. So what happened? This happened. Like, who are these? Are, like if you look at here in Alberta from 2020, when there probably wasn't much construction going on, and 2020, 2021, there probably wasn't much construction going on. So I'm sure there were schools being built, but probably not as many. I know there was some that got built for sure because I've seen them, but I'm sure not enough to keep up with these numbers. Because I'd imagine, you need at least, a school per thousand. So, how are you going to keep up with this? So you need, you need 20 new schools a year at least to keep up with these numbers. Oh, here it looks like even more, like if 30,000 jump here. So you need, you need 30 new schools in a year. Like, how do you keep building that many schools in that amount of time? And, where does our money go? It goes to refugees, asylum seekers. And, if these people are taking up beds in our hospitals, we're wondering why we're having 24-hour wait times. Look at all these numbers here. How many people have died waiting for care in Canada since 2020? And I think it might actually be more than this. But look at all these people dying. In 2019, it was less than 4,000. But suddenly, it jumped. And what else jumped? Like especially in 2022, 2023, 2024. What jumped there? What's all these total new arrivals? And I think it's actually more than this, but these are, let's just say these are an estimate. So, 400,000 permanent residents, almost 500,000 in 2023, 2024. Like this is a lot of people. It's going to affect your healthcare. It's going to affect your schools. So maybe we shouldn't bring so many. Do you understand that? Cause and effect? Do you understand now that one thing affects another? So now let's go to something else that you're not going to like, but it's the truth. So what has been happening? So in 1976, the Immigration Act passed. Well, it passed in 1978, but even before that, in 1967, I guess they started, loosening a bit. But before that, if we go to here, in 1960, Canada was 98.9% European. I thought we were always an immigrant country, always diverse. We had people coming from everywhere. Do you get it? Do you understand that maybe we weren't? Because that's what all I hear everywhere. It's like, oh, we were always diverse. We're the most diverse country, and we should just be even more diverse. Even though most of the immigrants are coming from one place, India, and a lot of Muslims, a lot of people from Africa, a lot of people, but mainly from India. But it's mainly from those three countries. What about Brazil? What about there's a number of other countries I'd probably rather we had people from there because at least to keep it diverse instead of it just having mainly you know, three types of people coming here that I don't really want here, quite frankly. But anyway, but that's beside the point. Whatever. So, but do you see these numbers here? 1960. 98.9. 1961, 98.3. But then it starts going, a bit down. In 1970, we had 96.4, so that's, 2% down, 2.5%. So then the Immigration Act passed in 1978. So what happened? We saw a big jump here. It went down to 89%. And then it went down to 86%. And then it went down to 80%. You see where we're going? Oh my gosh, it just keeps going down. What's happening here? Oh my goodness, in 2025, we're only at 66%. Where did all our people go? Well, I guess we're still here. It's just we're being replaced by a lot of other people. That's a lot of people. 15 million people at the very least. It's not counting all the temporary residents, the millions of other people. And now let's look at crime. Look at 1960. Let's take a look at the violent crime, because that's what matters most. This is just whatever. I'm sure, like if you look at here, I'm sure they were reporting a lot of crime in 1991. They were reporting the littlest things, like someone fucking jaywalked and they reported it. But, as time went on, and especially now, they just don't report the little stuff. So that doesn't really matter. But do you see this line here? In 1962, what were we in 1962? Well, in 1961, we were 98% European. And about 1% of that, 1.2% of that was indigenous. So we were an indigenous and European country in 1961. And only 221 murders. Or violent crimes, actually. Sorry. I thought that was murders. So yeah, if you look at the violent crime graph, it keeps going up. It just keeps going up. I mean, I kind of want to know why, because for some reason, like, all the crime kind of goes up until 1920. Like, what happened here for it to go down a little bit? Like, it goes down, and then it goes up, and then it starts going back up again. And what happened in the last, few years? A whole lot of people came here. A lot of them criminals. So I would say these are the only ones that we know about. But I'm pretty sure it's a lot more. And it's no wonder why there's, thousands of fentanyl labs operating in Canada. I'm sure a lot of these people have a hand or two in there. Canada's approved entry for more than 17,000 people with a criminal record in the last decade. So I thought the federal government was supposed to protect our people from exterior forces and from threats here at home. I don't think letting in 17,000 people that have criminal records into our country is protecting our people. And I mean, if we look at the violent crime going up, and this only goes up to 2022, 2023. Let's look at the homicides in the last so many years. So, the Liberals came in power in 2015, and it doesn't really go down. Oh, well, in 2016, we had 20 less, but that doesn't really mean anything. But it just kept going up after that. Never went down. Oh, look at that. 2022, I actually had like, whoa, an extra 100. I had an extra 100 there. So how is this a net benefit to Canada? Like, why is this a good thing? Cause and effect. If we're bringing in all these people, it's going to affect things. It's going to, a lot of these people don't know how to drive. Why are there so many more accidents? In my city alone, there's a pedestrian death every day now. Like, they keep coming out with saying, oh my gosh, people have to slow down, people have to do this, people have to do that, like all these pedestrians are dying. And I'm like, this wasn't happening before. Like, it was a rare thing. But the more people we bring here, I see people. I've actually seen, I've seen African immigrants just walking down the road when there's a sidewalk right next to them. They're just walking down the road on a residential street. They, I'm just watching them, and I'm like, what are they doing? I would tell them, but I know they probably don't speak English anyways, or they barely speak English. Like, you could tell, because again, they're just they're not just walking down the street alone. They're walking down the street with their child. They're just walking down the road. when there's a perfectly good sidewalk right there? And then we wonder why all these pedestrians are dying. So I have a fix for this, and I have it so everyone can be happy. So there's a few things here. First, we send as many immigrants home as we can. We send them home to their countries. We give them incentives to do so. There's plenty of money around to just, give to them. This is just a chunk of it right here. So we can give incentives for them to go home. And then guess what? We can build up our own country from a position of strength where we help our own people first and we build up our country. And guess what? So I have a job for you liberals. If you want a diverse country, why don't you go over there? And why don't you help them? Because I would actually see that as very noble if you went and helped these people, because bringing them all here doesn't help us, and bringing them all here doesn't help their country, because their country is still in tatters. I understand people who are coming from like a war zone like Ukraine. I can understand bringing those people, but like from India and many parts of Africa and all these other places, they don't need to come here. And if you see their countries, all right, let's just go to a random place in India. Do you think this country could use a bit of help? It looks, it's not too, well, like, I don't know. I feel like they could do better. I feel like they could do a lot better. I mean, I don't know. I think they need a lot of help, actually. Like, way too much help, actually. But, you see my point, though? Bringing them here is having a net negative to our country. They're coming here with their values of just throw the trash on the ground, you know? Like, whatever. Whatever. And I've seen the videos of in Canada, these people just throwing the trash on the ground.
I will throw garbage on the road. I pay my taxes. The government has hired sanitation workers. They should do their job. If the road is dirty, it's not my fault. It is the sanitation worker and the government who's not cleaning it 24/7.
Right there. Hey, dude, that's not a garbage can.
It's not just at morning 7 o'clock time that you send in sanitation workers to clean the road. I will dirty it anytime.
Yeah, pick it up right now. Let's go. Pick it up, put it back in your truck. You don't litter here. You can't litter here.
We can just take it, okay?
Yeah, put it in the truck. I'm going to watch you. You don't litter here. I'll phone the police. That's a $2,000 fine.
Here people can't, and then, oh my god.
Oh, what the fuck?
This is actually fucking disgusting, man.
Why are you throwing garbage out in the river? No, I just saw you. I just saw you. Your plastic bag. Plastic bag is garbage.
The fuck are you doing? Why are you throwing your shit on the side of the road? Why are you trying to throw your shit on the side of the road?
Seriously? You don't just, like, there's a garbage, right?
Take that to the dump.
But maybe things can change. I don't know. Like if we can get to such a position of strength where we can actually help these countries, maybe that would be better. And maybe you can be the start of that. Maybe you can go to these countries and help them. Because like just bringing them all here, having them build their statues, build up their communities, build up their areas, and they only help themselves. They're not integrating into our society. They're replacing our society. And just after Remembrance Day, the veterans who died for this land. I mean, I could try to bring up even farther than 1960, but I'm pretty sure in World War II it was probably close to 98%. So It is the Europeans. It was the European Canadians who died for this land, not these people. So we don't owe them anything. But that doesn't mean I don't want to help them. I don't want our statues to be put down for these to be put up instead. This isn't what they died for. They sacrificed a lot. And are we just going to throw it away? Are we just going to throw it all away and give it to these people? Because that's what we're doing. What happened to our country? Because this was our country for a very long time. It was mostly European and indigenous. I don't see a problem with that. But I do see a problem with this. And this, Bill C-3, where you'll only need to be in the country over any 5 consecutive years. You have to be in the country for only 3 of those years. And that entitles their children to become an automatic citizen in this country. So they can go, or they can just go anywhere they want, and then they'll be citizens. And then if they need like a big surgery or something like that, they can just come here. They just quickly come here, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna come over there and get your free healthcare, and then I'm gonna go back." They're not paying into it. These people aren't paying into it. We are. Now here's some more bad things. People on wait lists in Canada. Why is this? Is this because I mean we already had a system that was failing. Like it wasn't that great, but it was surviving. I could go to the hospital, and I think I did in like 2018 or 2019, or I think it was even actually it was in like 2017. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I went to the hospital, and I waited like a couple hours. That was it. The last time I went, almost a year ago, I was there all night. I went at about midnight, and I was there until 8 a.m. I think. I went to the hospital not like less than a year ago, and I was there all night. And like I felt like I was dying before I went there. I almost called an ambulance because I felt like I was in such extreme pain. I never felt anything like it, and I didn't know what to do. I was just like and luckily it got like a tiny bit better, so I didn't have to call an ambulance. But I did call 911 because I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, it just keeps getting worse, and I'm like, okay, fine. So I went to the hospital. But anyways, I wish I recalled how many immigrants it seemed like that there were there. But from what I remember, quite a few of them were immigrants. I don't remember many people that were, European. So what's the cause of that? And what's all the cause of all these people dying? Confirmed deaths. This is confirmed in 2022 to 2023. 17,000, 15,000, 12,000, another 12,000. That's a lot of people. And a lot of you say that immigration isn't the problem. Well, that's an extra 5 million people right there. And that's not accounting all the refugees and everything else. So that's killed these people. What else killed these people? Was it just the fucking tooth fairy? Some imaginary thing? I don't, like, were we just supposed to build like 10 hospitals? We're supposed to build a new hospital in a city every year to keep up with these people? Like, that sounds impossible. The amount of money, the amount of resources, the amount of healthcare staff you need, this is insane. This isn't sustainable. And with Bill C-3 coming in, it's just gonna make a mockery of the system we already have. Like, this country is over. We're not going to be a European country anymore. It's just going to be whatever. It already is. It's just whatever. We're just a whatever country. We're just the world's shit bag. Anyone can come here and take advantage of us and then do whatever they want. They can commit loads of crimes, build their fentanyl labs and their organized crime rings, and just go ham. And if they get put in jail, they'll just be put on bail. It's whatever. That's Canada. So I hope you kind of understand cause and effect. Because I don't know how else to explain it to you. That one thing affects another. And if we actually want a solution, so everyone is happy and we can actually protect the country that over 100,000 European Canadians died for, maybe we could go back to protecting that and not destroying it and replacing it with this place. With using our country. With using our country as a trash bin. With using it, just using all our services, allowing for our people to die. Imagine how many of these people had paid taxes their whole lives, and their parents had paid taxes, and so on, to pay into the system. And it failed them, and they died, so these people could replace us, so they could build their statues here. They didn't die for this. They didn't die for Christianity to be removed from everything. For all our churches to be burned down. For them to build up their mosques and temples and 50-foot statues while we destroy ours. We didn't do that. Do you think they would have went? Because because it's a fact that that most of them were Christian. Do you think they would have just been like, oh yeah, we did it for freedom and democracy. I already made videos on this, and I could make 100 more, but they didn't. You can't make up facts, so, but hopefully you can understand cause and effect. And if you can't, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I guess you live in your own fantasy land. So if you don't understand any of this, and understand that our country is being destroyed from within because of the federal government, then I don't know what to tell you. This country needs change. It needed change like 20 years ago. What happened to... Can we go back to these levels? 85%? Because I think I would be very happy with 85%. That's amazing. Can we at least go back to 75%? At least? I feel like 75% I could absolutely live with. I could be like, all right, fine. But I can't live with 66%. I can't live with 50%, 40, 30, 20, until we're fucking obliterated. There won't be Remembrance Day at that point. What will Remembrance Day be? It's already changing every year. We don't sing that all thy sons command anymore. Even though it was thy sons who shed their blood for this country. Yes, the women sacrificed too, but they didn't with their lives. That's why it was all thy sons. So it's great if you can live with that. But I can't. I won't let Remembrance Day be replaced by Sikh Remembrance or whatever other Remembrance Day that'll come to replace it. Because they're already trying to build monuments for their soldiers in our country. The ones that they bled for this land. Canadian blood. Not Sikh blood, but they want to put up their temple. They want to put up their monuments here. Which is such an insult. If we allow this to happen, we're letting it be destroyed. We will not be called Canada anymore. They will call it whatever they want. Because they're going to be the majority very soon. This is in 2025, 66%. It just keeps going down. What will happen? Will all the Europeans have to move to one single country, and we'll just have to like last man stand, and every other country will be replaced by by Muslims and Africans and in India and whatever? Like that's just going to be it. All the Europeans, we're all going to have to, I guess we'll just give up Canada and we'll just go back to England or one of those countries, but they've been invaded too. So we're going to have to fight somewhere to protect our country. We're going to have to fight in Canada. We're going to have to fight in Europe. We're going to have to fight somewhere. Or just let us be replaced. So we either fight or we just give up. And we just let them take everything that we created and died for. You choose. Long live Canada.